Hello and welcome to the Ureka Series by UNext. My name is Arib and today we are going to delve into the fascinating concept of generative AI for Gen Z. So let us begin. Initially, let us understand a little bit about what is generative AI. As you know, it is the latest and in-demand technology. It is a subset of AI and it's all about creativity and innovation when we speak about Gen AI. So let us understand the generative AI's adaptations. Now, compared to the other hyped up technologies, you can see that the curve for Gen AI is very steep comparing to the smartphones and the tablets, which were also revolutionary. Moving on to what is Gen AI and how do Gen Z leverage this. So you can see that Gen AI has got 70% of Gen Z using them. And when you see the generative AI, we call the Gen Z as the super users of generative AI. Now, in terms of the generation gap which comes here, so you can see that 70% of the Gen Z use Gen AI, whereas the early boomers and the millennials don't necessarily come up to that level. They don't really understand it up to that extent. Now, the reason for this is because the Gen Z were in a very much digital era, right? So they were sort of born in the digital era and they've got more and more exposure to all of the tools and all of the tablets and all of the phones and laptops and all of those. So when you take this generative AI and how we could be leveraging generative AI across various domains. In terms of development, we can use Gen AI for code generation, for code testing, documentation, summary generation, and many more similar kind of applications. Coming to functional work, if there is some sort of a collaboration that you would want to do, right? Maybe a connect between a finance and a healthcare domain, right? So it's very easy for us to leverage Gen AI with regards to this kind of functional work. It also helps us to improve our productivity so that we can spend our time with regards to much more important business goals rather than doing the simple things, right? So Gen AI can help us with that. Finally, coming to the creativity and innovation. Suppose we want documents, we want reports, we want presentations. All of those can be very easily leveraged and created by using generative AI based tools. Moving to how engaging can Gen Z be with regards to the power of generative AI, how can we actually harness the power of it, right? We can see that the first point here says personalized content creation. So we can deal with generation of music, we can deal with generation of presentations, generation of audio. We have got different types of modalities coming into that. Now, once you speak about the second one which says interactive storytelling, right? So we could be leveraging generative AI for very interactive storytelling also. Now, the third one here is the music and art. We could be generating music coming from the Gen AI based tools. Now, the focus of this is that Gen Z actually like to leverage music and maybe like your gaming and maybe educational and learning tools as well, right? So to learn, people are more invested digitally rather than using the traditional notebooks. Now coming to the fourth and fifth points, right? So here we have got education, right? So Gen Z likely prefer to maybe use a digitized version of whatever is the content which is available. Same way when you come to the gaming and entertainment, right? So a lot of Gen AI capabilities can be used for these kind of things as well. Moving to the next slide, how Gen Z are actually leveraging and using these generative AI tools. According to a survey and a research which was done, in terms of creativity to create art, images, videos and music, right? So there was a survey conducted for 3 different Gen Z in terms of middle schoolers, or maybe there are high schoolers or college going students. And then there was a stark contrast saying that 75% of them actually like the idea about using this for creativity. Moving on, let us now understand a day in the life of a typical Gen Z developer. How a Gen Z developer's life would look without Gen AI and how it could be with the Gen AI capabilities. So the first thing that you can see here is without Gen AI, the task would be time consuming and difficult. For example, the code generation. Maybe if there are 1000 lines of code which is supposed to be written, it would be a very tedious task. Suppose we take it with the Gen AI capabilities, right? It could be very easy code generation so that the Gen Z developer could be focusing on more important tasks. Coming to the second point, manually testing of the codes. Right? Suppose we take the manually testing of the codes. It's again very tedious, very much time consuming. Generative AI capabilities could help us with automated testing of the codes and easy optimizations as well. Coming to the last point, here you can see that traditional learning resources are used, right? Suppose we take Gen AI, we could be having a recommended personalized learning resource which could be used. Feel free to connect with us to learn more about emerging technologies and latest cutting edge technologies. Thank you so much for watching.